The Women's Movement by Timber Kirkpatrick. Since the beginning of America, men and women had a very strange relationship. They would get married and have children, but during this time, men would be working all day, and then the women would stay home and be mothers. Everything changed in 1845 when the women finally decided to stand up for themselves. Women got together and talked about the change that they wanted to see in the world. They decided that the first thing that needed to change was not being allowed to vote. The women banded together and protested. They wanted everyone to know about them. Certain women like Susan B. Anthony really stand out for giving all that they had for freedom. Many women went against their husbands' wishes and organized mass meetings, rallies, and group protests. Then finally, after all their work, America adopted the right to vote for women on August 18, 1920. After the women's suffrage movement ended, not much changed politically. Most women voted the same as their husbands because they had similar political values. But after women felt liberated, they started wearing shorter skirts, cutting their hair, and began to smoke and drink. This started the Roaring Twenties and the creation of the flapper. When America entered World War I, many things changed in the country. Many men left to fight. Women started different projects to help their men in their country. They started to pledge to save food, fundraisers, and made clothing for the men. Some women became Red Cross nurses and went to Europe to help the soldiers. The Navy started to hire women for the very first time. This is one of the first opportunities women ever had to be independent and useful. Everything seemed perfect until the war ended and the men came back home. They wanted their jobs back. Then came the stock market crash and the Great Depression. While men scrambled to find jobs to support their families, women went back to being nothing but stay-at-home mothers. This era of depression made the women feel useless again. Then America entered World War II. While men went away to fight, women took over the jobs they left behind. Most of the jobs offered were either in factories, agriculture, or construction. Most of the factory jobs included making supplies needed for the war. This caused a huge increase in the woman can-do spirit. In the 1950s through 1960s, women were mostly housewives. They stayed home to clean, cook, and take care of the children. Also during this era started a new sex symbol, the housewife. Women now were desired more than ever. Certain women like Marilyn Monroe and Farrah Fawcett are known for being sex symbols in America. The 1970s sent a new wave of hippie thinking to America. People wanted to do good things for the planet and wanted peace. A large group of these hippies were women who wanted the equal opportunities as men. This started the feminist movement. Women demonstrated what they believed in by protesting. By the mid-70s, women were given the right to work in politics, business, law, and science. But this alone wasn't enough. Next, they went after the wage difference between men. The early 1980s is when the feminist sex wars began. Women went out and protested so people would know how they felt. They protested pornography and stood up for sexuality and abortion laws. They believed that every woman should be free to be herself. Some struggles, including abortion and sexuality laws, are still being fought for and opposed today. The whole women's movement is labeled by waves. The first wave was women's suffrage. The second wave was equality in the workplace. And the third wave was the feminist sex wars.